Alright, I'm gonna read and analyze a poem by William Stafford, probably my new favorite poet, William Stafford. It's from the book Ask Me, which is a collection of 100 essential poems. I lost my, I don't know how, I lost my original collection of his selected and collected poems, like a huge ass collection of it. But I have this at least. I have 100 of his best poems, so I'm very grateful for that. But anyway, this poem is called You Reading This, Be Ready. Starting here, what do you want to remember? How sunlight creeps along the shining floor? What scent of old wood hovers? What softened sound from outside fills the air? Will you ever bring a better gift for the world than the breathing respect that you carry wherever you go right now? Are you waiting for time to show you some better thoughts? When you turn around, starting here, lift this new glimpse that you found, carry into evening all that you want from this day. This interval you spent reading or hearing this, keep it for life. What can anyone give you greater than now, starting here, right in this room, when you turn around? Now, I hope I didn't read that too fast or too slow. I don't think I read it too slow, maybe a little too fast, but I'm gonna analyze with my best attempts to analyze that genius poem, I think. I love that poem. You know, it's one of the first poems I really, just for fun, took a deep dive into and analyzed. And it was really a rewarding experience and kind of life-changing in a way. It sounds like dramatic, but like subtly, smallly life-changing. You know? And I think you'll see why after I read my notes from my analysis. So, I said the first line is killer, summarizes the whole point without the rest of the poem being redundant, and pardon me, my handwriting is terrible. So the first line, I'll go back to it, is starting here, what do you want to remember? You know, and that just gets right to it, dude. Gets right to it. You know, starting here and now, what do you want to remember? It's straightforward, but like it's also like deep at the same time, because it's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to cherish? What do you value? You know? And it's empowering. It's like you get to choose. Life is about choices. Like, what do you want to remember? You know, you get to choose what matters to you and what you want to remember and what has an impact on you and how you want to live and all sorts of things. It's about agency and empowerment. And that's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Anyway, he goes into the small details, William Stafford, not Willem Dafoe. William Stafford. He says, the next two lines mention sunlight creeps along the shining floor, scent of old wood hovers. And then in that same line of what scent of old wood hovers, what softened, you know, there's a pause after softened, there's a line break. I should probably introduce the text right here, or in the caption or something of this YouTube video, which I will. What softened, line break, you know, a line break after softened is like, well, what's softening? You know, it's kind of like what's the softened thing? You know, it's kind of a suspense building exercise. And, you know, that's what Stafford's so subtly good at doing. You wouldn't think of just based off an ordinary glance at his poems, a first reading and skimming of his poem, that he's a suspenseful, you know, intriguing poet. You know, you think of him as more of a simple, ordinary kind of man, you know, pacifist poet. That's kind of what he was, but he was also very smart and intentional. And there is suspense in that line break, because you're asking, well, what softened? Softened what? You know? And then he goes into the next line, which clarifies what that softened thing is. He says, what softened, line break, sound from outside fills the air. You know? So, sunlight, we have sunlight creeping along the shining floor. Scent of old wood hovering, and softened sound from outside fills the air. But they're all posed as questions. So he's questioning, do you want to remember the ordinary charms of life? You know, what's actually in front of you instead of what's in your mind in fantasy land, which is what I live in often, in my mind in fantasy land, instead of embracing what's around me. So this is why, this poem's kind of life-changing for me. And I want to write a poem like this, like super intentional, deceptively simple, but really, actually, really profound. You know, so what softened sound from outside fills the air. You know, they're all ordinary charms. They're all, things that are actually happening around you. And if you have gratitude for what's happening around you instead of what's living in fantasy land and wanting something better than what's happening around you, then you actually, it's a place of acceptance of what's happening around you that actually empowers you more than avoiding what's happening around you and wanting better. Because what he literally says in the next stanza, will you ever bring a better gift for the world than the breathing respects that you carry wherever you go right now? I'm like, damn, dude. Damn. Sorry. Goofy. Anyway. Where was I? Oh, I gotta go back to the first, shows how disorganized I am. The first stanza, the rhythm and sound of how sunlight creeps along the shining floor, what sense of old wood hovers, what softened sound from outside fills the air. You know, that kind of what softened sound from outside fills the air, and how sunlight creeps along the shining floor, they have that same balance and cadence to it, that rhythm. It's another masterful, intentional move by William Stafford. But anyway, going back to, will you ever bring a better gift for the world than the breathing respect that you carry wherever you go right now? That is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Freaking gorgeous. Freaking gorgeous. Okay. Excuse my mouth. Are you waiting for time to show you some better thoughts? Are you waiting? I should read that more intentionally. Are you waiting for time to show you some better thoughts? That whole stanza right there, that to me just cuts to the chase. This whole poem cuts to the chase, and yet it has this quality of cutting to the chase and yet not sounding redundant at the same time. You know, they're challenging questions. They make you think, and they're provocative. They all center around the same theme, but yet they're different questions. They have different connotations and meanings at the same time. Like, will you ever bring a better gift for the world than the breathing respects that you carry wherever you go right now? You know, he's asking you, like, I think what that means is, you are, the gift that you have is now, and that you are the gift of now at the same time. It's like an interconnection between you and the life you have right now. You know, that's the gift. It's not into the future or the past or whatever. And then the next question is contradictory. You know, it's coming from the point of view of someone who lives in the future or is stressed or doesn't prioritize the moment. Are you waiting for time to show you some better thoughts? That to me is like waiting for the perfect moment or the right moment to live. You know, that's what it called me out as. I'm waiting for the perfect moment and right moment to live. And this is why I made this video. You know, I kind of want to teach poetry. You know, I'm very passionate about it, and I want to be a poet. I'm not the best poet, nowhere near it, but I'm okay. I'm not this guy. But anyway, you know, that just called me out. It's like, yes, I am waiting for a perfect and for time to show me some better thoughts. You know, And it's thinking like, it's the perfectionism and the dissatisfaction with the now. You know, that's what I interpret it as. You know, you want something better. You always want more and something better than what you have right now. When really there's nothing other than what you have right now. And you have to learn how to appreciate and accept it. It doesn't mean be complacent. It means it's alright. It's kind of a paradox. The more you accept yourself and where you are now, the more empowered you are. You know, give up all the fantasies and just act now and engage in now. And this is what I'm doing right now. I'm sharing my passion for this poem. So that's what that means to me. Now, when you turn around starting here, that's the second time he's used starting here. And I'll use it one more time. He's used starting here as the first two words of the poem. And now in the third stanza, first line of the third stanza, which I'm just realizing now, they're all all except for the last one, quatrains. The last one is a couplet. And quatrains are like 4-line stanzas, and a couplet's a 2-line stanza. So, what I'm realizing now is starting here, starting here, starting here. He subtly, you know, it's not redundant. It's subtly, you know, he sprinkles it in just at the right times. Starting here. You have to start here and now. You have to live here and now. Okay, so when you turn around starting here, lift this, and then another line break, pause. Lift this, lift what? And then he says, lift this. Oh, my dogs are barking like crazy. New glimpse that you found. New glimpse that you found. So new glimpse, like new perspective on life, new truth of life, you know. This like empowerment of life and like appreciating the now and acting on the now, not in your head. So that's what I interpreted the new glimpse as. So with this new glimpse that you found, carry into evening. This is the most underrated and kind of challenging advice part of the poem, but it's the most meaningful advice. Carry into evening all that you want from this day. So act now. You know, be intentional of who you are and what you want. Not even just action, although action is very important, but just being intentional of who you are and what you want and what you love and how you want to see life in the world. You know, all of it. Being conscious and intentional of all of yourself. All that you can control of yourself, that is. Now. So carry into evening all that you want from this day. So do what you want, yes, but also be who you want to be, or who you choose to be, I should say. This interval you spent reading or hearing this, keep it for life. So this interval you spent, just perfect, what is it? Consonants and spent, yeah. That's perfect consonants. Reading or hearing this, keep it for life. Okay. So he's saying to keep this moment, this empowering feeling that you got from reading this poem. You know, it's a confident poem. And I don't blame him, because it's darn good. Keep it for life. You know, don't forget the beauty of now and who you are now, and carry and live now and live for the now and act now. What can anyone, which is, you know, even more obvious in this last stanza. So there's an M dash with a big pause, grand finale. What can anyone give you greater than now? Starting here. Starting here. Again, the third time he says starting here. And it's interesting that's at the end of the poem, because it circles back to the middle and to the beginning. And what you'll notice is the first two words of the first line are starting here, and the first two words of the last line are starting here. So again, it circles back. It's like life is always starting anew. You're always starting here and now. There's no real, I mean, there is, but in technicality and worldly view, there's past and future, but in actuality, I don't think there is what he's saying. It's always here and now. You have to start here, start now, be here, be now. So starting here, right in this room, when you turn around. So I'll read the whole couplet again without interrupting. What can anyone give you greater than now? Starting here, right in this room, when you turn around. I won't talk about now and around, the kind of assonance of now in the first line of the last couplet and around in the last line of the last couplet. That's not the most important part. I'll talk more about the symbolism. You know, what can anyone give you greater than now, starting here, right in this room, when you turn around? You know, kind of going in the world with the intention of being present and acting on the present. That's what I'm interpreting that as. You know, then after life in the here and now, not in your head, you know, but the actuality of life. So I'll wrap it up there. Well, I won't wrap it up there. I'll talk about some thematic things and then I'll wrap it up. So it's obviously an empowering poem. It's a poem that encourages you to not just do what you want now, but to be who you really are now. Do what makes you happy now. It's a simple message, but it's not. It's a profound message at the same time. You know, the only ever place that we have is here and now. So you might as well do what you love here and now, this is the first step for me of doing that, analyzing and reading this poem. You know? So it's an empowering, it's more about agency and the joy of here and now, acting on here and now of agency and purpose and intent of the intent of what you want to be and who you want to be. That's how I interpreted that poem. So anyway, thank you guys. Love y'all. Peace out.